How we doing, everyone? Hope you're all well. Mr. Boulder here, and I'm back today with another album ranking video. This one was a requested video from a fella called Marcelo Brooks Marino. Hope I've pronounced your name correct there, fella. About 6 weeks ago, I did the Black Sabbath discography, and then this fella got in touch and said, we do Kreator next. I'd planned on doing Kreator, but I hadn't planned to do it now, but I thought, why not get it done now, as it's been requested. So everyone knows Kreator, German Thrash Metal legends, 15 studio albums in this discography to talk about. Band that I only got into around about 2005. I'd heard of them, but never actually listened to them. I've since gone on to collect the entire discography. So without any further ado, we're going to get straight into this video. Like I say, 15 albums to talk about. Big video. It's a big cup of coffee needed. Cheers, everyone. Going to get started with number 15. We're going to start in 1999 with Endorama, which is a decent album. Yeah, there's no bad albums in this discography, it must be said. So kicking off with something from the 90s more experimental period. I really do like this one. There's a lot of good stuff in there. There's some songs in there that I don't really care for, but there's a lot of good stuff at the same time. Endorama, the title track's really good. Golden Age, first song's good as well. This is not very easy to read. Passage to Babylon is a good tune. Pandemonium, last track's good. There's some songs in there that I don't care for as much. There are hints of the old school thrashness as well, but very experimental in other places. Some nice riffing. Even in a couple of little places, it almost sounds like they're slightly borrowing from new metal. That might just be me, though. But yeah, this is a decent album. There's some songs in this I'm not too fussed about, but there's a lot of good stuff as well. Good vocals from Mille Petrosa, as always. Some nice riffs. Some forgettable moments there, but definitely some decent stuff. But Endorama comes in for me at last place, number 15 from 1999. Decent album, has to be said. Up next is another album from the 90s, and here's Renewal from 1992, and there's a massive crack in this plastic case. Picked this up from eBay not too long ago. The thing that sticks out in my mind mostly about this album is the vocals from Mille Petrosa. He very much doesn't sound like him for a lot of the time on this album. He sounds to me more like Ian MacKaye from Minor Threat and Fugazi. He really does sound like he's heavily borrowed vocally from that influence. Very industrial sounding. There's still some great metal riffing on this. I like what they've done with the drums on this album. The drums sound quite different in terms of what's being played. Because obviously this was them moving away from the thrash roots like a lot of bands were in the early 90s. Decent album. It's pretty good. Some pretty good stuff on this. First track, Winter Martyrium, is I'm not sure if that's pronounced correctly, but there we go. That's a decent tune. Starts off with the drums before some nice riffs come in. The title track, number 2, Renewal, I really like. Reflections, a good song. 0 to None I like. Europe After the Rain, Depression Unrest. Yeah, it's pretty good actually. I don't mind this one at all. Again, a bit like Endorama, there are a couple of tracks in it I don't really care for too much, but on the whole, I really do like it. Doing something different, like of course all thrash bands were in the early 90s. A bit of a different sound, which I'm sure would have turned a lot of people off back in the day. But yeah, I quite like this run. Renewal comes in number 14. Some good tunes, some stuff that's a little bit more forgettable, but definitely a decent listen, has to be said. Number 13 is Outcast from 1997. There's some very good songs on this, and again, a couple that I'm not too fussed on, but still some decent stuff. Leave This World Behind, first track, is really, really good. I love the chorus. It's really, really catchy. Forever's a great track. Enemy Unseen, Outcast title track is really, really good. Really strong chorus, very catchy. Stronger Than Before is a good tune. Whatever It May Take is a really, really great track. But then the final 3 don't sort of grab me as much as some of the others that have come before it, but nothing bad. Again, there's some nice riffs. Vocals are good. I like the drums as well. This one is definitely borrowing a little bit more from the thrash days of yesteryear, but still sounded modern for the time in 1997. Definitely drawing from some styles that were more sort of in favour at the time, let's say. But Outcast comes in at number 13. I quite like this one. Some good tunes, a couple of forgetful ones, but I still like it. Good album. And the last one is Cause for Conflict from 1995, I think is. So this is from the experimental 90s period, but to me, this doesn't really sound any different from anything they were doing in their thrash days of the 80s and the early 90s. So this is a really good album. This is probably why I like this one the most out of the experimental 4 from the 90s, because to me, it doesn't really sound that different from what they were doing back in the day. Oh God, this title's not easy to read, but Prevail's a good tune. Catholic Despot is a good tune. What other stuff have we got here? Oh God, it's so bloody hard to read. Men Without God, that's a good tune. Lost, Dogmatic, stuff like that. Nice bass playing on this album. That really sticks out in my memory. It's really nice and up high in the mix, which I like. Some great riffs. The drums are superb. The vocals sounding more like what you would expect from back in the 80s, whereas, like I said, they sound quite different on Renewal. But Cause for Conflict from 1995 is my favourite from the 90s era. Like I say, probably though because it sounds more like anything they were done back in their heyday. So that's Cause for Conflict, comes in at number 12. Now, before I go any further, I just want to say that, of course, I have just shown all the experimental albums from the 90s. But these aren't bottom of the pile because they're bad albums. I could enjoy songs from all of these albums. And if, like me, you hadn't checked out these 90s albums for a long time, I highly recommend giving them a listen, just because they're not thrash albums. I get enjoyment out of every single one of these albums. There's some really, really good songs on. So they're bottom of the pile, but that doesn't mean they're bad albums. So next at number 11 is Hordes of Chaos from 2009. Some really good stuff on this album. So 2009, of course, we're talking very, very updated, polished production. First track, the title track, Hordes of Chaos, is great. War Curse is a great tune. That was the first track I heard from this album. It's got a great drum intro. Some really vicious riffing, it's really good, and great vocals in the chorus. Very, very catchy. Destroy What Destroys You's last track on side A is excellent. Radical Resistance, first song on side B, is brilliant. I love the riffs. The vocal patterns in the verses are really, really good. Very, very catchy. Easy to sing along to. Absolute Misanthropy is a great track. Corpses of Eternity and then Demon Prince. Yeah, a couple of tracks that don't really stand out, but a lot of good stuff on this. Drums are excellent. Some amazing riffs. Hordes of Chaos is a good album. Comes in at number 11. Number 10 is Phantom Antichrist, which is from 2012, I believe. Yes, it is. The title track of this album is one of my favourite Kreator songs. It's really vicious. It's really brutal. Loads of rage, loads of anger in it. The vocals from Millet are absolutely amazing. Just an excellent title track. It's so good. Death to the World follows that, which is another great track with a very catchy chorus, very aggressive. United in Hate closes side A. Side B is great stuff as well. Victory Will Come, Until Our Paths Cross Again. Lots of good tracks on this. Again, a couple of ones that don't stick out in the memory as much, but certainly not bad. Phantom Antichrist from 2012 comes in number 10th place. Number 9th is their most recent album from 2022. And this is Hate Über Alles. Another great album with some really, really strong tracks on it. Title track is superb. I really, really enjoy that one. Killer of Jesus is a shit title, let's be honest, but still a good tune. Again, it's a very good chorus, which is easy to sing along to, gets into your head. Crush the Tyrants closes out side 8 is a brilliant track. Strongest of the Strong, really good tune. A great chorus again. Midnight Sun's a good tune. Demonic Future. Dying Planet last track's really good. Again, easy to sing along to, gets in your head. Another album packed with loads of great riffs. The drums, as always, are good. Some filler tunes, but Hate Über Alles is a very good album that I enjoy a lot. The most recent one from the guys. Number 8 is Gods of Violence, which is from 2017. Yep, I absolutely love this. This is really, really good. We're getting to the albums now where I'm liking pretty much every track on the album. Everything that's come before has had some hit and miss moments, but not here. This is superb stuff. World War Now, track 2 is amazing. Satan is Real, again, another shit title, but the song is really good. That chorus gets into your head, very, very catchy. Gods of Violence title track is absolutely superb. The drums in that are absolutely amazing. Great riffs. Hail to the Hordes on side C is excellent. Fallen Brother, great track. I remember watching them playing that Bloodstock a few years ago. They had some screens up in the background showing people like Cliff Burton on the screen, which is a nice touch. Side by Side is the first track on side D, is excellent. Death Becomes My Light. Gods of Violence is a great album. Really, really enjoy it. Loads of energy. Thrashing big time. Excellent stuff from Kreator. Gods of Violence there. Number 7 is Enemy of God from 2005. I think it's 2005. This is a 2017 reissue. The title track is one of my favourite Kreator songs. The drums are absolutely amazing on it. So many great riffs. The chorus is just amazing. Emilio Petroza sounds so good, so convincing. He really sounds like he means everything that he's singing in that chorus. He sounds really angry. Impossible Brutality, track 2 is excellent. Suicide Terrorist, those first 3 tracks are just bang, 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 bangers. Absolutely fantastic. Murder Fantasies is a great tune. World Anarchy, Dystopia, great tune again. Really, really good vocals. Dying Race Apocalypse, Under a Total Blackened Sky, The Ancient Plague. No bad songs on this. Excellent aggressive thrash from the guys. Love that album. Really, really good. This is the first one I picked up, actually. Or might be the second. I think the first one I might have got would be Pleasure to Kill. But this would have been the second one. I got on CD back around the release time. Excellent album. Number 6 is Violent Revolution. Yeah, this was the beginning of the comeback of the thrash days. This came out in, I think it's 2001. I think it's 2001, yeah. Excellent album. Picked this up at Bloodstock a few years ago. I'd never seen it on vinyl before, so I couldn't whip it out of the crate fast enough. So if you didn't like the experimental stuff of the 90s, this is definitely what you wanted to be hearing. It's a great album. Reconquering the Throne, first track, brilliant stuff. Drums are absolutely excellent in that tune. Violent Revolution, very catchy. Second Awakening and Ghetto War, great tunes. Replicas of Life, Bittersweet Revenge, Mind on Fire. A great comeback with regards to the thrash roots of this band. An excellent album with loads of great riffs. Brilliant vocals as always. I know I'm repeating myself, but I've always loved Emilio Petroza's vocals, and he sounds fantastic on this. That's Violent Revolution. That comes in at number 6. So we're getting to the top 5 now, and let's have a quick drink. Now, I've got to say, actually, before I go any further, that number 6 through to number 11 are all really good albums, but I have to say, it's hard to pick them apart. And for me, the reason for that is the production. And the production on all those albums, for me, is practically identical. To my ears, I can't really tell them apart. And that's a bit of a problem for me. A bit of a problem with modern production, I think. Like I say, these are all really good albums, but hard to tell them apart because they sound pretty much identical to me. You go back to yesteryear, back into the 80s and that. Let's use Metallica, for example. Those first 5 albums, none of them sound exactly the same as each other. If you put something like Jump in the Fire on Ride the Lightning, it would stick out like a sore thumb because it sounds completely different with regards to the production of those albums. Whereas these last sort of 5 or 6 albums I've shown, the productions are identical. And it'd be nice to hear bands sort of switching things up and not using the same old technology and probably not using the same studios and producers. Anyway, on to the top 5. Here's Coma of Souls from 1990. Absolutely fantastic album. Really, really enjoyed this one. I only picked this up a few years ago. This is the 3LP Red Vinyl edition. Some of my favourite Kreator songs on this. Coma of Souls, the title track, is so good. Excellent chorus. People of the Light is absolutely superb. I love the riffs in that. The vocals in the verses are absolutely phenomenal. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. Agents of Brutality is a great tune. Twisted Urges, Hidden Dictators, Mental Slavery. Just phenomenal stuff. 10 tracks, gets the job done. Loads of aggression, loads of grit, loads of determination. Kreator's Coma of Souls is just an absolute banger. that comes in my number 5 for me. It's a really, really good album. Number 4 is their debut, and this is Endless Pain from 1985. The thing that sticks up most in my mind about this album is the really raw production, which I think is part of its charm. You haven't got any clicky, perfect sounding double kick drums here. This album sounds real, which is something we can't say about modern production. It has to be said. It's just fantastic. The bass sounds very much real as well. You know, the guitars sound fantastic. Great vocals as always, and it's just got so many great tunes on it. The first track, Endless Pain, is just absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely brilliant way to open this album. Total Death up next is superb. However, there's one part in that, you may be familiar with this, that sounds really similar to a song on the first Exodus album. I think it's Strike of the Beast. Sounds like they're using the exact same chords, the exact same kind of vocal patterns. It really sticks out in my memory how much they sound identical. If you've not thought about that, give them both a listen. Let me know what you think. Storm of the Beast, Tormentor, track 4. The vocals in the chorus are just absolutely fantastic. Son of Evil, Flag of Hate, Cry of War, Living in Fear, Dying Victims. The blackened style in the vocals as well is absolutely phenomenal. It's a shame you don't really get that on the latter albums so much. But I love the blackened tinge to the vocals on this album and the other earlier albums as well. It's just a fantastic album. It's very raw, full of aggression. Just great stuff. That's absolutely amazing. Love this album. Endless Pain from 1985 is my number 4. My number 3 is Terrible Certainty, the third full-length album from 1987. Some of my favourite Kreator songs on this. Again, it's very raw. Just fantastic. Stripped back production, which again is part of its charm. Kicks off with Blind Faith, which the vocals in the choruses are just absolutely amazing. Again, Storm of the Menace, you can say the exact same thing about that. Vocals are amazing. Terrible Certainty, track 3 is excellent. Toxic Trace on side B is just amazing. So much aggression in that tune. One of Us, Behind the Mirror. So many great songs, and so many songs that stick out in the memory. Drums from Venter are absolutely fantastic. Amazing album. Terrible Certainty from 1987. The third album is brilliant. Just so many great songs, full of aggression. That raw production again, that just makes it all the more better for me. And just amazing stuff from Kreator. Terrible Certainty from 1987 is my number 3 album. Into the top 2 now, so have another quick drink. And for me, Just Being Beaten into first place is Pleasure to Kill from 1986. This is the first Kreator album I ever heard. Picked it up on CD at a car boot sale of all places. If you're from outside the UK, the car boot sale is basically where it does what it says on the tin. You buy a pitch in a field, take a load of stuff you don't want anymore to a field, and you sell it out of the back of your car boot, or trunk, as you say in the States. Pleasure to Kill then, number 2 from 1986. It's just amazing. Ripping Corpse, track 2, absolutely fantastic stuff. Pleasure to Kill, I love the drum intro in that. It's brilliant, brilliant stuff. Riot of Violence, the last song on track, side A, is absolutely amazing. Again, great vocals, the riffs are amazing. The Pestilence, first track on side B, is vicious, sounds absolutely amazing. Command of the Blade, always love that chorus. Great vocals, as always. Ends with Under the Guillotine. This is how you do it. 9 tracks over and done with in just about sort of 35 minutes. Amazing, amazing stuff. One of the other problems I have with some of the latter albums, say something like Phantom Antichrist, is that albums can go on for like 45, 50 minutes, and sometimes a good 35 minutes album is all you need to get the job done. An excellent, excellent album from Kreator. Pleasure to Kill from 1986, their second full-length album, is just an absolute beast, packed with amazing tracks. Again, that raw sound in production, it's just amazing, and I absolutely love it. Pleasure to Kill is my number 2, which means my number 1 is Extreme Aggression from 1989. What you have here is slightly more upgraded production, but still has got that rawness and the viciousness from the early albums. And it's just amazing, amazing thrash metal album. Opens with the title track. It's just brilliant stuff. Love the drumming in that. No Reason to Exist, excellent track, great song. Love Us or Hate Us, love the vocals in the chorus. Full of loads of venom and bite, sound amazing. Some Pain Will Last kicks off side B. Betrayer, again, a great track with a really catchy chorus that gets in your head. Some excellent, really harshly screamed out vocals which sound amazing. Bringer of Torture is an amazing track as well. I love that one. Loads of great riffs in that. And it ends with Fatal Energy. Yeah, Extreme Aggression from 1989 is my favourite Kreator album. There are no bad albums in this discography. They are all good, but this one is top of the pile. But it was hard to pick between this and I'd say probably Pleasure to Kill and Terrible Certainty. Those 1, 2, 3 are very close. There's not much in them at all. But this is my favourite. Just an amazing album. Like I say, slightly better production than what come before it, but still retains all its aggression, grit, and fire. Amazing stuff. There we go. There's another one, Extreme Aggression. So as you can see, guys, the top 5 are all the early albums. And for me, it's just hard to look past the fire in their bellies that these guys had in their early days. And you get this with a lot of bands, very similar to Metallica. I mean, I love Metallica's entire discography, but there's no denying that their early stuff is the best for me personally. And the same with Kreator, because they've got that youthful aggression, that youthful energy that obviously you lose as you get older. But for me, the band made their best albums in their early days because they had that youthful aggression, that fire in their bellies, and that's what made them make their best music. These early albums have got so much aggression to them, and for me, it's just what makes them better. And like I say, the stripped back production, I enjoy more than the sort of more updated production. It has to be said. But there we go, guys. There's my not extreme. I'll just talk about Extreme Aggression, haven't I? My Kreator album ranking. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. As always, get in the comment section. Let me know what your favourite Kreator albums. I'd love to see some responses from you guys, as always. I'll be back with you next week, just before Christmas, with a cassette update. So, as always, cheers, take care, and I'll see you soon.